everybody, welcome back. Northernlion, Dead Cells. We're doing good work recently. You know, they're long episodes. I'm not gonna say they take a lot out of me, but you know, the day goes by pretty fast. You record 4 Dead Cells episodes, you know, eat some lunch, and you're like, what the heck, it's 3 in the morning. Alright, that might be a slight exaggeration, but we're doing good things. If I have, like, a resolution for this run, it's, if possible, I would like to have a non-fire focused run. Of course, in the end, we are still, like, predominantly concerned with making sure that we beat the Watcher, if possible. That was a very bad roll on my behalf there. Get that mouse pointer. Get that trash out of here. We're predominantly concerned with making sure we beat the Watcher, which is not necessarily going to be easy. No, the phaser actually does not ignite anything this time, but still, this seems... I mean, hilariously, after I say I don't want to roll fire synergy, of course we get the oil grenade and an unbelievable amount of fire with the firebrand. The phaser doesn't do anything in that category, but you get the idea. I figure we're probably at the terminus here, but we got a lot to explore before we do. I'd like to ideally go through the ossuary, but first off, mostly just because I pronounce it hilariously and it makes people angry, but secondly, if possible, wouldn't mind picking up that extra loot bonus you get down there. Is the real deal. Holyfield. Kebab, might as well. Obviously some HP as well, but we need to be stacked before we do it, is the thing. Let's perform an experiment. Firebrand. 2 stacks of flame. Oh, but he was already oiled, so that's not a fair experiment. Okay. Let's try this again. I'm gonna try to learn the oil mechanics for myself here. 2 stacks of flame. 3 stacks. It's based on timing, I suppose. Oil grenade. Firebrand. Still. You know, it's not 2 stacks that time, but I feel like that might be somehow related to the shield that you got there. It just spreads the fire further, I guess, is the... I'm not sure that's worth much of anything for us, but hey! Strength and HP, that's probably what we would have taken with our first 2 pickups anyway. Still not really 100%, you know, for sure understanding of the meta of the scrolls, but we got a long life ahead of us to figure that stuff out. Hopefully, at least, we got a long life ahead of us to figure that stuff out. So we got a turret, we have a balanced blade 2, just 209 damage per second. I don't think we need to buy that. 100% damage on a burning target, obviously that's got some value. Spike shield, covers the victim in a flammable oil. But if we take this, we'll have nothing to light people on fire with. But we should try it, I think. And then maybe... I mean, the Nutcracker's kind of tempting, but if we don't have anything to light people on fire, what do we care? Releases a cloud of poison around the victim. I think we'll get rid of the oil grenade. I mean, we can be spend heavy, so... Excuse me, sir. I'm gonna go skills, just to keep ourselves relatively balanced for now. And, you know, you may indeed feel that that's a terrible decision. Do we have to land the parry to do the damage? Not a good example. Okay, even worse example. Give me my HP back. I'm a little confused. I have faith that we'll figure it out, though. This feels like it could be the exit. Yeah, dude, have we explored the whole floor already? That's crazy talk. It's too fast. I'm like 0% confident in my actual build here. Where's the mummy's rub? There it is. But I'm gonna try to go to the ossuary anyway, just to mix it up a little bit. But I don't know, I mean, we're only 1 floor in. We don't have to, like, be completely set. But I'm not necessarily convinced that I'm in a great spot right now. But I think we've hit our groove in Dead Cells. Like, I finally feel like I possess the methodology that could eventually, hopefully sooner rather than later, lead me to my first win. And then we can talk about, you know, what the world, you know, means for us after that as Dead Cells gets further and further in development. It's certainly not a game that I believe the intention is just to beat once and then move on. Hit me. I hate you. I hate that so much more. This is a good thing for us, I think, from a practice standpoint. First off, heal up. You've wasted a little too much HP doing nothing. I think it's good practice for us. It does do that way, okay. I think it's good practice for us to get up close and personal with these enemies and take them out that way, instead of what we've previously been doing, which is like avoiding aggro at all costs. But we are going to have to be better about it in these situations than we used to be. You know, because I've got a pretty unfortunate track record of playing badly when we go sword and board, and I don't think sword and board is a nearly as viable strat as just, you know, pumping out fire grenades over and over. But you gotta deal with the cards you're dealt as well, right? What the? Dude, I hate Sonic the Hedgehogs. I hate you, Sonic. Maybe they're a shield-focused enemy, and that's one of the ways in which shields were sort of buffed. Maybe not. Okay. Are you supposed to just let him spin out and then rush him down? We're slowly killing enemies by, you know, releasing a cloud of poison, but I don't think that's the way we want to live our lives here if possible. So, I'll just give it to you straight here. If we don't work something out here, we are gonna die. So we've really got to figure out how we're gonna come up with a solution here. Because at the present moment, this just ain't working out. That was so much worse. At least we healed most of it. Cluster Bomb 4, extra damage on a bleeding target. I'm gonna take that over Phaser because I want stuff that I can spam. So I have no idea how well this is gonna work. Usually I do tend to take a little bit of extra damage against these guys. That wasn't so bad though. But we're probably, if I'm being honest with you, looking for the exit here, which means that the ossuary was not the right way to go. I'm playing a little out of my comfort zone. I don't think the spike shield is the right choice for my mindset in Dead Cells at the present moment. Emotionally, I feel fine, but mechanically maybe a little out of my wheelhouse on average. Hopefully this is a secondary. It's a flashbang. I've gotten, like, a lot less happy with flashbangs recently. Even though it is Flashbang 5, I don't think there's any reason to think this is necessarily going to be better than Flashbangs 1 to 4. You know, they had a good idea, but the director, it was their first time making something, you know, this big, they didn't really follow through on it. You get the idea. I'm making a joke about Flashbang being a series of movies, not an item in the video game Dead Cells that we're playing presently on youtube.com/Northernlion. Let's go. I got big apple pie in the sky hopes for this episode. You know, sometimes it does require a little bit of strife in order to achieve greatness. I think the cluster bomb is really going to help at dealing with the Sonic the Hedgehogs, at least. And if we could just, like, surround them with poison, be a much happier camper. We are going to have to heal again, though. It's a very, very bad sign for our livelihoods that we've had to heal so much so early. But, dude, I'm not bitter. You know, a lot of this existing damage is my fault. Fighting those guys when there's a chain close to you is mad annoying. Luckily, there is another path here, and there might always be another path, but still. Okay, so we got one heal left, and I'll be the first to acknowledge that, you know, we've not played this floor very well. But we're not dead yet, which means there's time to recover. I don't like where we're trapped here. But I think we're gonna make it through regardless. Thank God for the poison, honestly, which is allowing me. I think I just need to come to terms with the fact, you know, it feels like it's an admission of being bad at the game, and I really shouldn't take offense to that. But I should just start to accept that the right course of action for me is not to shy away from spamming right trigger, left trigger. Like, I'm always like, oh, let's try to get like a big sword this time. That might not always be the way that we need to go. That was a bad way to handle that. Just want to stack up as many status effects as possible here. That should do it. We got another turret. Horizontal turret 6. Jeez. Well, it certainly beats this. The question will then become, do you want just to rock 2 turrets? None of them pierce, and we lose the value of the clusters, but that sentence has almost no meaning to me right now, so what do we got going on here? This is actually great. It might seem like, in the way we're kind of screwing ourselves if we leave early because we have, you know, the whole point of going to the hard level is to get better loot. Have we achieved that goal? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Can't help but notice you guys didn't die as quickly as I thought you would. I don't know about double turret strat. Double turret strat seems pretty good at taking out, you know, a single target relatively quickly. And not that good at dealing with multiple targets. So, normally, at least in my perspective... Oh, jeez Louise. Multiple targets are the most annoying thing. Hey, come this way, please. If we can get one that pierces, that might help. I don't think I'm going to go back for the cluster bombs either. I'm willing to ride it. You know, it's feeling like a little bit more of an experimental run. Although that sounds like I'm basically admitting that it's screwed. Dude, stop. Dude. Can you, like, stop with that? Well, like, I want to go up there because there could be something up there, but I can't go up there without getting hurt. But I'm just, by going like this, I'm just sacrificing my HP for no reason. Alright, I gotta handle this Skype situation. It's my own fault here, obviously. Close this. Click on that. Alright, let's go. Something about Skype. Her friends would say, stop Skyping. She's had enough of that. Her friends would say, use Discord. There's other VoIP programs. They tried to set her up with Slack and Trello. But there's something about Skyping that they don't know. There's not. We actually use Discord for everything. For some reason, we just use Skype for, like, casual chit-chat. More conversational inertia than anything else. Nice shield. Be ashamed if something happened to it. We have not leveled up enough for me to be, like, in love with the idea of going to the ossuary here. This does help, admittedly, and I think, I'm gonna go straight for skills. I haven't been disappointed with skill upgrades for the most part, but I'm kind of hoping we can pick up some items. Like, is this our item room? No, it's a mummy rub that will give us an item, but it's not the free item from a chest. It's a phaser shield. I mean, I call BS on this dude knowing that I'm down here, but it is what it is. You know what? You guys go take care of that. I'll go this way. +1 health, fires an arrow in front of you and causes you to charge forward while blocking. Well, we're not really using our shield at all. So my perspective, I suppose, is that I should really just use the phaser shield at least as a way to be like, hey, we got +1 HP without having to sacrifice anything for it. More, oh, and another elite enemy. The real problem is going to be when he starts to, when he gets to phase 2, because then he can teleport up to us. If he wants to, but he doesn't, so That's just about the easiest money ever. We got a pendant, ruby amulet. Make you invisible after 5 without attacking. Your next strike while being invisible inflicts plus 150% damage. Okay, so 5 seconds. I'm assuming that's what 5 is. There you go. I'm invisible. What if I throw a skill? I become visible. See, that's a bummer. I was hoping we'd be able to cheat the system. There's a poor way to handle that, but you know what? Heal up. I'm surprised how long our last Estus has lasted us here. You know what you're gonna say? It's not an Estus. You know what I'm gonna say? It is an Estus. Dude, I just want to get up here, but you've made it not possible. Turns out there's nothing up there anyway, but still. Okay, so no heals, but we know that we can exit whenever we want. He's done. Maybe that's the best way to take these guys out, is just, you know... Oh, okay. Disregard. I was going to say land directly on top of them. Actually, the best way to take them out is probably to throw a turret on either side of them, so there's never anything they can do. Could exit here. We could cut our losses and go to the ramparts. Seems actually like a fairly sensible play given the circumstances. How much have we not explored? Still a little bit. Let's continue exploring. Like, as long as we're not on the brink of death, there's nothing for us to worry about right now, I think. Is a long walk back. Was there there might have just been a teleporter there. I'll own up to that. Wouldn't be the first time. See, that's my new incredible strat for dealing with those guys. They're still shooting, so as far as I'm concerned, I'm in the clear. I don't know, the phase shield actually seems alright. Is it a good initiator? Well, don't handle things that way. So that was, like, extremely poor on my part, I think. Still not a huge fan of hedgehogs. Forgot that those are the principal reason I don't want to come down here anymore. Oh. Let's go. Just one more heal is all I want here. There's still a little bit of space. Not one more heal, sorry. One more scroll. I would consider that we made it successfully through the ossuary if we got one more scroll that we could put into whatever we want. Because, like, we did get good loot, but as of right now, it feels like the juice ain't worth the squeeze. Skill-wise, we're not necessarily ballin'. Okay, so there's one more scroll. We can't put it wherever we want, but, dude, strength's pretty good. Not over-leveled, certainly. So this gives us +1 health and is probably... I mean, it's just strictly better, so that's a decent pickup for now. Bow and infinite arrows. I think it gives us unlimited ability to shoot toxic clouds, so that seems acceptable, even though it does cost us 1 HP. And grenades... I do like grenades. So I think, you know, we got spendy there, and I'd do it again. Gosh darn it. So the only thing that we cannot have access to now is our, the timed door we were unable to make it through. So I think we're gonna leave, and we're gonna say, you know what, for level 2, we got access to, like, a lot of equipment. Scrolls-wise, I don't know, 433. I honestly don't know if that's particularly strong for this section of the game, but we're here. We got 55 cells. That's like quite a lot of loot. We got a good pendant, I think, as well. What are these? Which of these weapons do we like? I like the balanced blade quite a lot, so we'll go with that. I think we're basically out of blueprints here. So let's head upwards. Upwards? I mean, you could say downwards. I don't see why upwards shouldn't be acceptable. We haven't been to the ramparts in a long time, so I'm kind of eager to see how we handle it here. I think the horizontal turret's not amazing, because there's so many enemies that fly, but the grenade being able to be spammed consistently seems decent. Like, we really, I'm not following my own advice already, but why wouldn't you spam the grenade once per encounter? Especially, you know, it seems like it freezes the enemy. Wow, good shot, honestly. Or it freezes the enemy when they die, I should say, which means that other enemies will get frozen in the interim period. Got a lot of good, like, initiators, to be honest with you. Twin daggers, +1 skills. It's just worse. Like, it's not much worse, but it's worse in basically every category, unless we like the moveset more, which, to be honest with you, I just don't know. We might even want to initiate by not, attacking. Or, sorry, by not using a grenade, but instead just by... Well, I mean, here, it probably is different, but... You know, we can do so much damage with our first attack that it seems like we might as well wait out the invincibility and then go for that. Toxic Cloud is pretty solid at dealing with, you know, a wide array of enemies, so I'm happy that we have it. One grenade is also doing the job, so... Maybe now we'll start to realize that it was nice to go down to the ossuary, because... these enemies on the ramparts are basically eating it. Knife Storm 3. It's almost, like, inconceivable that we would want that. That's the downside of being down here. It's like, you know, the skills scrolls are still worth the same, but the equipment is going to be much nicer as a result of... Or the equipment on the last floor is much nicer, so... I'm probably going to prefer this. But, hey, the more equipment, the merrier. We just got some more HP as well. It takes us up to 533. I think I'm starting to fall into a build that feels a little bit more natural here. We still don't have synergies, so... I'm not loving that, but... Did you actually, like, tank that whole grenade on your shield? One of you's gotta eat this. Wow, good shot, honestly. I just need one of you to eat this, thank you, and then the rest of you aggro. Alright, I guess I could also one-tap you, accidentally. There's our item. That's how you know we're really dunking on these enemies. We don't even care that they exist. Sadist Sword. Inflicts a critical blow if the victim is bleeding. Throws a grenade. Yeah, I don't know. We want to be able to create crits. So do we have anything that makes bleed? Not yet. If we do get that, though, we really should consider it, because... Unlimited crits is really nice. This does extra damage on a stunned target. Not quite good enough. Little less on damage. Does damage to stunned but not bleeding targets. It's not obviously horrible, but it's not what we're looking for. Ah, you know what? We could use Knife Storm to inflict a bleed. Do we have like a pseudo synergy going on here? We'd have to give up one of our better abilities to make it happen. Probably we'd give up the turret, which, to be fair, I haven't been using all that often recently, but I just prefer having a grenade, basically. And I think that there is something to be said about, you know, tailoring a build in such a way that you know how to use it. But again, I'm still very much a novice. I'm just hoping that this comes through. Being able to create endless crits with our primary weapon seems like a positive, you know? Let's grab that. It does take away 1 level of our HP as well. But now, what's the game plan? Because we do more damage with the bow against bleeding targets as well, so... We really need to level up skills to get that cooldown timer as low as possible, which is why I'm, you know, happy that we got a skill level there. The game plan is very, very simple now. You open, like, almost every fight with Knife Storm. Accidentally just cranked down my volume here. It's not like we're making any time doors anyway. You open with Knife Storm, and then you hit him as many times as you can with the sword. You get guaranteed crits. We're not really seeing it right now because it seems like we're a little over-leveled, honestly, and maybe taking out enemies faster than they got any chance to make it through this, but maybe against this elite enemy we'll see. So we gotta go. I didn't want to have to heal there, but it sort of forced my hand, to be honest with you. Fire Grenade 5. I do like it. Do we have anything that does damage against burning targets? Not yet. I think we cannot take it. We need the bleed synergy. Interrupted my attack, you jerk. And in fact, even right now, I would suggest that the bleed synergy is not all that good. Extra damage on a burning target, okay. Extra damage on a burning target. These aren't what I'm looking for, but there is a burning synergy available. There's no doubt about it. Please don't even try it, thank you. You know why we're killing things so quickly? We throw a grenade every time we use our sword. Just a nice little value add to keep us happy. Nice try, buddy. Nice try, buddy. Well, I'm not 100% confident in this loadout right now. It's probably the exit, I'm assuming. I'm not 100% confident in this loadout right now, but certainly think it's fair to suggest that it could be worse. I still just have never found the shield setup that makes it work for me. Shove shield gives us a damage bonus. Oh, another upgrade. That's why you explore, and we're probably gonna go full-on skills. Again, because the faster we can use Knife Storm, the more reliable our bleed synergy is gonna be. Alright, could be better, could be better. But I think we're relatively decently equipped here. Don't make me laugh. Why take the elevator when I've got a perfectly good downward strike, baby? Baby! Yeah, baby, it's me, Austin Powers. Only I'm from Austin, Texas. Yee-haw! We got the magnetic grenade bonus. Yeah, that's what we were working on. Balanced blade. Okay, it's another multiplicative bonus. Let's go for the nutcracker, or as I call it, the egg warmer. And, I mean, at this point, if we died to incomplete one, the episode is a disaster. This should be, like, the halfway point of the episode. If we die here, it would be hilarious, but also, you know, disappointing for me on a personal level. I don't know about our odds against the Watcher. You know, unlike some of our recent episodes, I basically... Stop this. I basically, Dude, that's pretty nasty. It doesn't do that much damage, it's just annoying. Unlike some of our recent episodes, I basically want to replace all of our equipment at this point. The sword, I think, is fine. And if we can keep the crits going, like, you can see it's chunking up his damage pretty nicely. Like, all we have to do is 2-tap him, and he basically can't hurt us. I'm just gonna heal up just because we can, basically. Yeah, he's done. Alright, that wasn't even close to being dangerous, so... It's a pretty good indication that we're doing something right here, I suppose, but on the fjord, we are interested in, ideally, improving our equipment. I wouldn't mind getting rid of this secondary for something synergistic. And I wouldn't mind, to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind replacing both of our skills, but if possible, I'd like them to be a not Knife Storm that inflicts bleed. So anything that inflicts bleed but isn't a Knife Storm is cool with me. Especially if we can get like one of the ones that's like, if an enemy dies while it's bleeding, then inflict bleed on all enemies in the vicinity. Because that's like game, set, match, you know? But it's not like we're underpowered. The fjord is kind of the first test of that, though, is like, you know, how do we do on these pods that might have some annoying enemies? Throwing knives, they cause bleeding, and if enemies die while bleeding, enemies nearby will begin to bleed as well. And it pierces the first target. So, like, even though the... Ooh, suffers bleed damage when it thaws out, but unlikely to matter because they should be dead by that point. And we're not going to roll 2 ranged weapons in all likelihood, at least, so... It wasn't suffering from bleed when it died, so... That's what we're looking for right there. So we want to, like, kick down the door, Make everything suffer from bleed, and then just start smacking them with the primary weapon. Maybe that's the secret. I mean, the throwing knives just allow us to basically tear every enemy up to begin with. We don't have to get too finicky with the oh, hello, with the style that we're playing, I think, but I think this works. So you probably, like, always want to start with that. What did I get hit by? I'm mostly mad at myself for that. Cluster bombs. Plus 30% damage on a bleeding target. So you know that I'm looking at this and I'm starting to believe. I'm starting to bleed. We got no burn synergy. This time we got bleed synergy, and I'm happy camper. It's nice to have a very easy way to inflict bleed. I want all the gems, thank you. Are we already top floor? Like, no. We're just like semi-high up. That was just an idiotic decision. Go in and heal before you fight these guys again. I've just completely misused, like, all of my abilities there. What do you... Whoa! Right. I do it against bleeding units, dude. Frantic Sword 5 covers the victim in flammable oil, does extra damage against burning. So it's not the sword we're looking for. Definitely 2,000 for a strength upgrade seems like a sensible choice. 455. What's the regular DPS difference? 728 versus 795. So I think we got good reasons not to go with this right now. We should also be able to non-stop create crits. So this is kind of what we're looking for right here. I'm not sure how well it's working out right now, but basically... excuse me, I'm trying to make a point here. Basically just spamming all these bleed effects and kind of creating like a cascaded bleed. I will do this. Maybe we die in the process, but I want the equipment. What do you got for me? A spiked shield and some freaking gold? Nah, I don't like that. It does do crazy damage. Enemies burn when they die. That's not what we're looking for, so we gotta be very, very careful now. Alright, one down. I don't expect this to be easy. This is a late game curse, and it ended up, I would say, very much not being worth it. We almost killed more enemies just by doing that. Because they got bled when they got hit in the first, or when the enemies next to them died. Okay, so this is very simple, I think. Just wait. Now you go for it. Curse lifted. And they all got massively bled there, in addition to what was already going on. Alright, so we didn't die to the curse. How much is that worth? Like, approximately nothing, but... could be worse. I'm starting to feel like we got something worth talking about here. Like, we got a potentially workable run. I don't think it's quite as, like, smooth as our earlier ones. Honestly, I mean... I was gonna say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's a little self-serving right now, because it might be broken. I mean, we've never beaten the Watchers, so you can understand my concerns. But why not go skills? Critical blow, 100% extra damage on a burning target. Even with the strength upgrade, I don't think we can justify it. You know, for the reasons that I assume are obvious, but you never know. If that bled enemies, we could consider it. But, you know, we have the guaranteed crits. And we could rework guaranteed crits. We could just go for, like, you know, raw damage against other enemies. Or, sorry, on another status effect. So, like, right now we got guaranteed extra damage on crits. We could make it, or on bleeds. We could make it guaranteed extra damage on burns instead. But we have to rework, like, our whole apparatus. And usually that's only going to be able to happen piece by piece. So, could be a little bit on the annoying side. Secret discovered. Frames. Like, always on the fjord, the frames get a little out there. We're gonna just go down and do some more exploration, just in case we haven't seen anything or everything. This is honestly my pleasure at this point, knowing what I know about what kind of, you know, runs we've had ever since exploring everything versus the kind of runs we were having before that, which were not as good. That's not how you throw that. So this guy's got to go. Like, one of them has to go so I can take out everybody easily here. I'm really liking this new game plan where, like, I don't even have to attack every enemy on the screen. Like, a lot of them just die to the bleed stacks to begin with. If we could get more stacks on that, it could be something. Oh, dude, 2,700 for some extra skills? Absolutely, man. Now, we might be a little understated on HP. It would be nice to not feel like we have to heal every time we get hit. Regular whip, extra damage on burning, extra damage on frozen. I can't reliably hit the crit because it's a skill check, so we're going to stay away from that until we get a little better. But, you know what? We can just walk. It's a walk of life, just a walk on. Well, we didn't even need to take the special path that time. You know this song? Sing along if you know it. It's the walk of life. Who says Dire Straits, I think? Wow. You actually got me, like, super good, and I'm mad about it because I thought my crits were going to heal me, but instead, you were not bleeding by the time the crits got done, which is a great personal failure, to be honest with you. That'll do it. More likely, at least. Why would you just sit there and let that happen? That's what I gotta know. So this seems like our exit. Could be wrong. There we go. We got our HP back. Oh, not an exit. Bleed? Enemies burn when they die. Dude, just... We could get rid of the knife storm if we just had a reliable way to inflict bleed that was not, well, I mean, honestly, we might actually just be able to get rid of Knife Storm as is. I like the fact that it inflicts 3 stacks of bleed, and it inflicts bleed in, like, an area of effect. Which is particularly nice for me because, we get to, like, stack up bleed on all of these enemies who then stack it to other enemies when they die. And you get the gist of how that starts to be pretty valuable for me. Got another item here. Something to replace Knife Storm. Nope. Enemies burn when they die, and 20% extra damage when you're doing a crit. But I don't like the Impaler, but I've been told that the Impaler, I misunderstand it. So one of these days, perhaps we'll find the keys to the kingdom that let us really appreciate the Impaler as a weapon. Why'd you say appreciate like that? Great question. Gold, we're just running away with it. Like, it might not seem like much to get a little extra gold every now and then, but it starts to matter, you know, when your run gets long. Again, it was not an acceptable way to get hit. This seems like our exit, though. And honestly, I think we're... Well, you know, it's a bad habit. What should we do? We should go explore and make sure that we got absolutely everything here. You've already put in 38 minutes of solid dead cells. Why throw it away without at least checking to see if you got more stuff that could be good? I think that actually is it, though. Like, I actually... Yeah, that's the gate over there. The top floor, I guess, is like 60% of the size of the bottom floor, so... Let's go. Are we well equipped for the graveyard? Honestly, 2 floors ago, 2 floors ago, things were different. I would have said no, but right now I'm like, yeah, I don't see why not, honestly. 56 cells is 1 straight upgrade, so we're actually going to be able to get 2 upgrades out of this. I've already leveled up a lot of the skills I already like, so just go for the Sadist Sword. And I've still got 4 cells. Man, remember when 4 cells used to be like, I don't know if I'd say a lot, but it used to be a noteworthy amount. Oh, 4 cells. Dude, that's 40% of an unlock in the early game. You left 4 cells behind back there. Now it's like 1/12 of 1 level on a level in which we do like... Or in a run in which we do like 10 levels. Okay, so we handled that wrong. This is all about attacking order. That's the moneymaker right there. So what's my principal weakness in my opinion right now? I always take it as a good sign if I'm playing a game and my complaints about my runs become more and more specific. It usually means I'm starting to learn a little bit more about the language of the game. And right now my complaint is my cooldowns on my skills are still too dang long. So when it comes to spamming to defeat enemies, I'm not really getting the job done at the present moment. Like, I can't follow up a cluster bomb kill with more cluster bombs. You know, it takes too long. So, easiest way to do that, or to get away with that, or get away from that, I suppose, is just to replace the cluster bombs. Hopefully with something that still synergizes with our, like, bleed strat. As always, we're looking for the key. I don't know how we open the door that gives us alternate access. But I suppose it's good that there's still, you know, some mysteries and dead cells available. So basically, despite the fact that our skills are like... despite the fact that our skills are our most leveled attribute, I'm still like, I want to replace them. I think that's actually a pretty good sign. So we get the quick bow. We certainly need the bleed from the throwing knives and the added benefit, like the mass effect, basically, of it being able to inflict bleed on other enemies could be useful. Like, I hesitate to say will be useful because we're about to fight the boss that's killed us like 3 times in a row, and I expect the boss has a great chance to kill us again. However, if it does not, the next level, who knows, it might be stacked and stacked with, you know, myriad pods full of enemies. Excuse me, sir. Thank you. See, that feels nice. I think we woke that enemy up from his slumber because we inflicted bleed on him. That's gotta hurt. Right, so that's the crypt. We've killed all the enemies in the entrance to the crypt despite having not entered it yet. So again, take that as a great sign. Because it is a great sign. Especially, like, this is very nice to not have to deal with the super finicky enemies that show up. Like the flies that explode in your face, or the bats, or whatever you want to call them. Don't be a lame, you know the game and how it goes. You're trying to get frozen. Any UGK fans here? I'm just joking. You don't have to be a UGK fan to know International Players Anthem. It's an all-time classic track. Wow, I'm mad, but also I understand. I hit an enemy and the knockback pushed me onto the spikes. We were dealing with like a nearly perfect record, so that's why it hurts the most, dude. Nearly perfect record on this floor, just to be clear. We got a blueprint? Vampirism. I actually thought we would tapped out of blueprints at this stage of the game. Like this stage of the graveyard, I mean. Wow, we almost let him get an attack off there. Remember, like, the original reason for this bleed was to make it so we can get guaranteed crits with our sword, and that's something that I still expect will probably be pretty important in Sworden. But now it's almost more like it's just an enabler for our cluster bombs, which is not bad. This door is blocked. I really should have just smacked it. But what I thought was going to happen was I would make the door bleed, and then I'd hit it for a crit and get all my points back. So, can you blame me? Yes, because, I mean, I would want you to, because that's a stupid decision on my part. Anyway, we in this. Let's go. We used half our heals and should not have. But we're still moving along here. Hello.
Oh my god, you have a tower of fear.
There are 3 beer cans stacked into a sword-like contraption on my desk for the audio-only listeners out there. We should go watch a movie. I will finish this Dead Cells run. Win, lose, or draw, there's like 15 minutes left.
Okay. I'll play one more game.
That is completely acceptable. Alright, we got this, boys. No conspiracy theories. I am in this to win this. You know, there's some hot jams down at the multiplex, no doubt, but I want to beat the Watcher. That would be... It's a Friday night, you know, to be totally transparent with you. It would be the perfect cap to my weekend. The start to my weekend, I should say. To defeat this boss, who's been, if I'm being honest, kind of a jerk. So, if we lose... As far as I'm concerned, it's way more surprising that we've made it to this stage of the game so many times in a row than to, like, get an extra win in Isaac. So, just because, you know, we're probably, or possibly at least going to end this one with a death, don't think that I'm, like, extremely disappointed if that ends up coming to fruition. Because it's not the case at all. Actually, like, quite happy with this run. And we've made a synergy that's not just fire grenade work. And we've proved again that, you know, it almost feels like if you just go to every single room and every single, like, exit of every terminus of every room, to put it as unambiguous as possible. I'm not going to say you can't lose, but it makes it a lot easier to make it to this stage of the game, I'll tell you that much. I think we should go for a level of HP. That's bad. Yeah, that could have gone worse, but it was bad to begin with. See, that's nice. That feels good. So again, we're at like kind of that equilibrium when it comes to our cells. Oh, dude, another level of HP. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm furious. Swarm of biters, dude. It is tempting. Extra damage on a bleeding target, but damage dealt times 2 and received times 2. I don't know. Spiteful Sword is slightly better, but we can't guarantee the, wait a minute. I thought we did... Oh, it does guaranteed crits if the victim is bleeding as a default, so... This only does extra damage if we have been hit, which I don't want to have happen. This is what tempts me, though, because biters are nice. And if we're only using... but the grinder is never going to be useful against the next boss. So I do think that maybe later that will be a better option for us. You know, if we have to fight a bunch of enemies in the future or something after we beat the boss. But the next challenge is the boss, and I'm never going to be able to land a consistent meat grinder shot on this boss. It's just not conceivable. So I think we're being actually very intelligent. This does extra damage to burning targets and gives us +1 strength, but it can't compete with our bleed, and it really is, like, our cluster bombs doing extra damage to bleeding targets is mission critical right now. We need to keep them, we need to keep that going. And honestly, you might think if we die on the boss, you know, we haven't made any progress. I very much disagree. We have not used all of our heals, which is something that has not happened before. On the prison, I think. Or, the graveyard. The prison is the way you go from the ossuary. Let's try, buddy. Like, honestly, if you don't land that hook, you lose. It's like Dota. Don't take Pudge mid if you can't land your hooks. Look, I haven't played Dota in, like, actually 4 years, because it's bad for my personality. Good one. And we shouldn't have talked that much about the healing to begin with. But that was my memory of things, at the very least. I'm also not that salty to be stuck with the Knife Storm, even if it is level 3. Because, the damage output from getting like 3 or 4 stacks of bleed on you, if you get hit by it up close and personally, is sizable. Like, it's a sizable amount of damage. It's also allowed us to make sure that our strength stat is basically, I don't want to say irrelevant, but sort of irrelevant. Throwing knives. Throws a grenade, shots pierce the first target. Those are throwing grenades 6, or throwing knives 6. Does less bleed damage. Oh no, sorry, it does more bleed damage, and shots pierce, but these shots pierce too, and it doesn't have the group effect on bleed, and this doesn't have any bleed effect either, so I'm actually, like, feeling like that's not the right choice right now. I'm gonna heal, just to be on the safe side. I don't think we needed to, and now, you know, we've definitely counted our chickens before they hatched, but, got a case to be made that this was the right call. Oh, I missed the crit! Dude, I actually am, like, grossly overestimating my strength. We gotta be close to the exit. Wow. We still do have to be close to the exit, though. You gotta give me that one. Alright, we got ice grenades. I mean, 509 damage is pretty great. And it gives us extra strength. I don't know, though. 445 damage per second from the Knife Storm seems pretty good. So let's just basically tighten our bootstraps up here. Oh, we're ready to go. The ice grenade we could land on the target, and then we, I guess, hit him with bleed and go straight for the crits, but... Hey. Interesting. I don't know, that's probably like a passive secondary that we have or something like that. Vampirism. So it's attempt number 4, I think, to beat this boss, and we actually got closer than we've ever gotten before on the last attempt. I think our build is fine, 7-5-7 when we're not using our sword that much, except for guaranteed crits anyway. And we've got skills that are very easy to hit him with. Like, that was a pretty good introduction to how I want things to go here. And this is actually why I should be very glad to still have Knife Storm. Because... Come on. I need you to pop up. Preferably more than one of you. Oh, I'm invisible, that's right. So I have to... You know what? That invincibility might actually be a pretty nice advantage for us. When we're afraid of getting hit. You can go like, okay, there you are. Maybe try to stack them up on top of one another. This seems like it's actually going okay. Okay. We're out of ammo, which means, I was gonna say, there's ammo stuck in that dude. We got some back. I also respect, the bleed. We're gonna have to heal. Should probably do it right now. Oh, I really didn't think that was gonna get me, but minor. Relatively minor. That's what we want to do. Basically, like, get close and somewhat safe, and then just freaking unload, man. Come on, come on, come on down. You're the next contestant. Get freaking screwed, buddy. All right. We got like 3 ammo. That's not a ton. Bad cluster. There we go. Starting to get, you know, the less there are, the easier it is for us to take care of them. Right? I tried to throw one and then get a bleed off, but it did not work. Okay, you're kind of letting it slip here a little. That's the one you gotta watch out for. Oh, and then you were watching out for that one, you didn't watch out for the other one. There we go, we healed a little bit. We are gonna have to use at least one. That was scary. Come on, pop up, pop up. Oh! I thought I died there, actually. So heal up, you might as well. Basically healed up completely from our original hit there. No! The bombs have got to go off! It's an essential part of this game plan. Right, this part. Gotta roll better there. Heal again. Okay. You got one heal left. You're not doing too bad. This is actually Dark Souls now. I'm fairly comfortable with the boss fight. Although still, obviously, you know, not knocking it out of the park. Right? That's a bad start. Yep, rolled into it. Okay. That's what's going to happen in that situation, obviously. At least you got some heals out of it. Oh my god, it's so fast now! Gotta heal. One hit and we're done. But I can't. Yep. I got inside of my own head. Still, it's good, but dude, the Watcher is no freaking joke. He's become the new, like, incomplete one. But if it gives you any positivity, remember, it took me like 10 tries to beat the incomplete one, and then after that, we've almost never died against him again. So for now, thanks for watching. Still making our way downtown, walking fast, faces past in the homebound. Thanks for watching. Again, thanks for your support. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.